Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your Lunch Break Live. My name's Ivana Hearn if you're new here, and if you're not, thank you for coming back. Today, I am joined by what might be a familiar face, and this is our own weather reporter, Leigh Morgan. I will go ahead and say, and we're going to talk about weather today. We're going to talk about a forecast and about Hurricane Ida, now Tropical Storm Ida, and what she's got in store for Alabama. But I will go ahead and say that obviously this weather has taken an effect on my connectivity. So if I am a very blurry, I am sorry, working from home problems and weather problems, but just lucky to have power and water, unlike many of our friends and family in Louisiana and across the coast. So Leigh, I'm going to pull up some maps here. Hopefully those will be clearer than I am right now. And let's talk about what Ida has done to Alabama and what Ida has in store for Alabama.
Okay. Well, as of 10 a.m., Ida is a tropical depression, and the center of it is about 60 miles west-northwest of Huntsville, and it's moving to the northeast about 15 miles an hour. So Ida is, it's spinning down. It's got winds of about 30 miles an hour. In Alabama, most of the rain is over northeast Alabama, and then there's some in the southeast corner of the state. All that's going to push out today. But we're still looking at the threat of some heavy rain, possibly a tornado or two. There's your satellite picture. And you can see down in the southwest part of the state, they're actually getting a little sunshine. So they could use that. They had a rough day yesterday with Ida. They had lots of tornado warnings. They had what we think is a tornado touchdown in Mobile County near Saraland that injured 3 people. And so they had a rough day yesterday. So hopefully the sunshine will be nice for a change. The rest of us probably won't get to see the sun until Wednesday or Thursday as Ida pushes off, and some of those clouds will linger through. After today, we're not looking for any severe weather. It's just there may be some lingering rain and clouds, but the worst of Ida we should be done with later today. So yay.
Well, and you look at the picture here and it looks scary. It looks like there's a lot of rain coming through. I know you said there's a little part of the corner down in that kind of Mobile, Baldwin County area where it doesn't look like they're getting plummeted with rain. But here in Jefferson County, I know it is just dark and dreary. Obviously, again, evidenced by my connection here, it is just rainy and nasty. So I'm going to pull up another map here. And this map is actually going to be it is a look at the potential rainfall for the day. So Leigh, I'm going to pull that up and let you kind of talk about today, what we can expect in terms of rainfall. I know you said that the sun hopefully will come out later tomorrow or Thursday, but that map might give people a little bit of an idea based on where they are in the state, what they can expect.
Right. This is the forecast from the National Weather Service statewide for potential rainfall through Wednesday. And what you're looking at is right there. They're expecting areas in the northeast and in the eastern side of Alabama to get the most rain going forward. So some spots can get up to 4 inches. Other spots 2-3 inches. Now the Weather Service in Birmingham just a few minutes ago canceled a flash flood watch that covered all of central Alabama. So they're not as concerned about flooding rain going forward. And there might be some localized flooding in spots that get those heavy rain bands come through. But there is a flash flood watch ongoing for North Alabama and parts of Southeast Alabama. So they're still going to be on the lookout for possible localized flooding. They're not expecting anything widespread or anything like that. But that's just through Wednesday. After Wednesday, all that should pull out and things will dry out for a little bit.
So I'm glad you say that. This is through Wednesday. Hopefully we'll dry out after Wednesday because we have so many people who have plans for this weekend to get by some water, whether that is the beach, the lake, the pool, etc., to get a little bit of sun to kind of finish up at the unofficial end of summer there. So Leigh, can people still keep those plans, those outside plans for the long Labor Day weekend coming up?
Well, this is still Alabama. So, and it's still, even though today is the last day of meteorological summer, tomorrow begins what we call meteorological fall. But even though that fall is going to be, starting tomorrow, we're still going to have that summertime pattern of the potential for rain and storms in the afternoon. I don't think they're expecting any big washouts, but there's always going to be a chance of showers in the forecast in the summer in Alabama. So it'll just be no big tropical systems, no big threats of severe weather to worry about though. So that's good news.
Well, and I have a commenter here, Linda. She asked, what's coming for Baldwin County? Can Baldwin County expect more rain?
Baldwin County, hopefully the worst of the rain has moved out. I know there could be some scattered lingering showers behind, but those big rain bands have moved on into East Alabama. So we expect conditions to improve through the day. So not saying it won't rain at all, but those big tropical downpours that y'all have been dealing with for the past couple of days should ease up, and they're going to shift on to the east.
Well, and we know that, again, fall typically in the calendar fall starts later in September, but that meteorological fall starts tomorrow. It is not going to feel like fall tomorrow, though, unfortunately,
No.
Leigh. If you're like me and you are anxiously awaiting that fall weather, we're going to have to wait probably a little bit. But that's good news if you do have outdoor plans for the weekend. No big tropical storms that we are expecting to see. So, Leigh, jumping off of that, it is still hurricane season that goes through October. So what can we expect hurricane wise? I know you don't have a crystal ball, but do we expect any more big storm systems to come through this hurricane season?
Unfortunately, you can't say no. We are nearing the peak of what they call I can never say this right, climatological peak of the hurricane season, which falls around September the 10th. So things, is still going to be very active, especially for the next few weeks. Now, the National Hurricane Center in Miami, they're always tracking things. We don't have any imminent threats to the United States right now. There's a tropical depression, Kate, that's out in the central Atlantic. We don't have to worry about that. There's a tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa that could be the next storm, and it'll be named Larry if it gets a name. That one probably is not going to be anything we have to worry about. A lot of the models have it shifting northward and heading out to sea, so we don't have to worry about that. But there is an area in the Western Caribbean, kind of where Ida formed, that they're going to be keeping an eye on this week. It has a low chance of becoming a tropical depression right now, but they think near the end of the week, conditions could become a little more favorable for it to develop. And that's an area we always got to watch really closely this time of year. Like I said, that's where Ida got going. And we've had an unsettling trend lately of storms rapidly intensifying, especially as they cross the Gulf. Ida is a prime example. There was Michael in 2018 that explosively strengthened, especially in the Gulf. So even something like this, we'll just keep an eye on. It's nothing to worry about right now. Don't panic or anything like that, but just keep an eye on the forecast, because later in the week, we could see this thing start to organize a little bit. Now, it could go over land and end up being for Central America than for us. There's no telling where it could go. So especially you can't track these things, especially when they haven't even formed yet. So it's just an area to keep an eye on, but no imminent threats for the Gulf or even for the United States as a whole right now.
Well, and we know so many, again, I mentioned earlier, of our friends and family in Louisiana are without water, without power, and are having some really devastating effects from Ida. Now, Leigh, we know Ida came in and it kind of hovered for a while in a spot, which is what brought so much rain to that region. It did start to move up. So what can the country expect for Ida? Is Ida, I know you said Ida has been downgraded. Is Ida just kind of going to fizzle away, or is it going to travel up through the country?
Well, poor Louisiana, they are parts that were devastated by Ida are now under heat advisories today. It's going to be super hot down there. And a lot of those people don't have power. A lot of them don't have water. I mean, it's just going to be a really rough time for those guys down there, for a while. It's going to take a while to get all that stuff back up and running. But the remnants of Ida, and it's still a tropical depression. The Weather Prediction Center, that's a NOAA agency, they're issuing the advisories on Ida now. They expect the center of the storm to keep tracking to the northeast, up through Tennessee and up that way. And it could bring a whole lot of rain to those areas. And they're actually very concerned about the potential for a lot of flooding up that way. So, and parts of Tennessee were devastated with that horrible flash flood just recently. So Tennessee's going to pick up some more rain, which is the last thing they need. But so they'll be watching those remnants of that storm. Now, they said it had 30-mile-an-hour winds, and that's in the stronger storms. But they expect it to kind of maintain its strength. So it may remain a tropical depression for a little while, but it's going to track to the northeast, pull away from Alabama. Our weather should start to improve, but the weather over the mid-Atlantic states is going to get really messy over the next few days. So they're very concerned about flooding. So hopefully nobody's heading up that way. But if you are, just keep an eye out because you might run into some problems from that.
And I did pull up this map as well that you sent me, Leigh. This is kind of the severe weather outlook for today, Tuesday, August 31st. And you can see that most of this weather, it looks like we're getting a lot of wet rain. But Leigh, do we have any chance for any of the more of those isolated tornadoes like we saw a couple of unconfirmed ones come up yesterday?
Yeah, well, the area in yellow there is where the Storm Prediction Center thinks there could be some scattered severe storms. So that's just a level 2 out of 5. The area in dark green has a marginal risk. That's level 1. That means isolated strong storms could be possible. Really, that area could really be confined more to the southeast corner of the state around Dothan and parts like that. That's where that last band is moving through right now. And then there's also, parts of northeast Alabama where the actual circulation center, what's left of it, of Ida, is moving. So that's where they're thinking, if there's a chance to warm up a little bit, some of those trailing storms could fire up and become, you got to watch out, especially in those rain bands, for tornadoes. They can spin up really quick, hit, and then be gone just as fast. And it's really a nightmare for forecasters, I'm sure, trying to track those things. So I would just look in the southeast corner of the state around the Dothan area for the next few hours. We'll be watching for those. The rest of the state, hopefully the weather should start to improve. We'll still see some rain, but the severe weather threat will push off to the east.
Well, and again, we're thinking about everybody who has been affected by Ida, including our friends here, even in South Alabama. Hopefully that at least in Alabama, maybe we're done with that. So Leigh, thank you so much for your reporting here.
Sure.
I know everybody can find your weather reports on AL.com/weather. We'll leave a link here in the comments as well, so you can find those. So everybody stay safe out there. Leigh, again, thank you so much. Everybody watching, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.